Oh, hi guys. Welcome to the latest episode of Cricket Draft Insight. Just thought I'd talk about a few things today. Let's start with Yorkshire. So, Finley Bean scored 100 yesterday, rapid 100. Now, he started the county championship with lots of starts, but he wasn't really going on. He got dropped for one game, but he did hit about, I think it was 88 off like 40 odd balls in the second 11 to demonstrate that, he can do some damage in white ball. Hasn't played a T20 yet. Uh, and he got back in the county championship team and he made a double 100 and he made a 50 recently. So really breakthrough white ball innings for him. What's fascinating about this though is if Matthew Revis hadn't gone to the 100, well then Finley Bean probably isn't playing. So Matthew Revis in the form of his life, he came through as an opening batter a few years ago, done some bowling, had some injuries, got himself back in, everything's clicked. What is it, 3 county championship hundreds, got his first T20 50, 1 or 2 in the one dayers. Now he's gone to the 100, he's sat on the bench. Finley Bean's taken his place and scored 100, right? So yeah, Ben Coates got injured. They had to leave Moriarty out to get Milnes and White in. But Yorkshire are in a good position, right? So they get through to the knockouts, quarter-final, semi-final, final. I know I'm getting ahead of myself slightly. But then Yorkshire maybe have a decision to make. A lot of people in that team are set. Has Revis just sacrificed his place, so he's at the 100, maybe he's networking. Look, it's the way it is. There's players at the 100. Miles Hammond hasn't played, came in yesterday, got a duck. Tom Helm, another player I've been following closely, did really well in the T20 Blast. He's not played yet. It's good to see. I keep my eye on that to see, Louis Kimber having a game or two. Ben Kellaway comes in and does well. It's good to see. Obviously, it's the nature of the One Day Cup and the 100 and the clash, players getting taken away. Excuse me. And the pros and cons. I don't know if Shohan played much. Not sure if he's played a game. But it's just a very simple, clear. This Yorkshire team is doing well. The playing 11 is quite obvious and consistent. Revis has gone to the 100. Bean's taken his place and scored 100. Nothing endears a player more to me than them not doing very well. And coming into this One Day Cup, Nathan Barnwell had, I think, 2 hit hits in about 10 games, an average of 88. And he's been expensive. But then he took 3 for 55. And I thought, just great to see. Please make a contribution. Go on, show people what you're about. And I'd actually had a look at the most expensive bowling figures a few weeks ago when 1 or 2 people were being a bit expensive. And I was a bit slow to take in that when he took 2 for 112, they were the most expensive figures in the One Day Cup. Yesterday, he scored like 43 out of 25, showing people he can bat. Good to see. But then he goes for 23 off 2 overs. And then, as it happened, Pat Brown, none for 114 from 10 overs, are the worst One Day Cup figures ever. He's a bit of an up and down player, Pat Brown. It was good to see him get back, take some wickets last year. I watched him a bit and I thought it looked like it was a bit of a struggle. I think it was after injuries, wasn't it? And then he got playing again. But then obviously he's been sat on the bench at the 100. And then he's coming out of the court. So Miles Hammond's been sat on the bench at the 100. He's come in and got a golden duck. Pat Brown's been sat on the bench at the 100. He's come in, he's gone none for 114 from 10 overs. The One Day Cup, that was Adam Thomas and taking it first, Ollie Sykes captaining. So Surrey haven't had a great time. Sykes is clearly a good player. And as I mentioned to somebody yesterday, Ollie Sykes, Will Luxton, Charlie Allison, right? So there's some batters. Allison, 3 county championship hundreds this year. I think he's converted all his 50s to 100s. Similar to Bean, he was opening, which I don't think is where he should have been, but it was where the vacancy was. And he was just barely getting started, went in the middle order, and he's thrived. He's got a 1 day 100. You think those guys, those batters are coming through when they're not even like the Lions players yet, because you've got Haynes, you've got Gay, Smeed, Holden, right? Before we even consider the Carlsons, Bohannons of this world. So the standard is high. Good players. You say the One Day Cup, and as I've said myself, players coming and going, variety of depth of bowling attacks. But these are good players going to make the county game stronger. Maybe the franchise and the England game. And in terms of the bowlers they're playing against, Langridge, JT Langridge, I only caught a little bit of him, but he looked quite exciting. Raw, looks far from the finished product. That left arm, a little bit wild, but got some wickets in him. Somerset are very interesting. I said before they have to stockpile players for the One Day Cup, right? Cover for the 100. And I saw some people questioning about the players that were leaving. But like these players have to leave. If young players are coming through all the time from the school, I'm surprised they rotate as much as they do with the bowlers. Like, might they be better just persevering with a smaller amount? But they've got to keep people happy. They've got to keep people playing. Josh Thomas is at least getting a bit of game time. Good to see. But like, these players have got to go, because if you're not in the T20 side and you're not in the county championship side, excuse me. And if you look at who Somerset are in the habit of signing for the county championship, a lot of these bowlers, they're not going to get in. They play once in a blue moon. So if they want to play regularly, they do need to go elsewhere. Now, Ben Green's obviously gone to Leicestershire and done very well. But we talk about players going elsewhere and playing regularly. I'm not sure all these players going to Leicestershire are going to play. So they've signed Tattersall. I'm a huge Johnny Tattersall fan. I think Ben Cox might be out of contract. Ben Cox isn't in the habit of going on, like to make hundreds, but he does score 40s, 50s, 60s quickly. And he's obviously a good keeper. Now, Tattersall can be in there as a batter. They've got Green as well as many other bowling all-rounders. I think Walker, maybe Wood, Wright are on their way out. Eskinazi comes in, but you've got Patel and Budinger. I think Hill is out of contract. I don't know if Hanscom's still around. Rehan Ahmed. Josh Davey. Well, there's no chance they're all going to fit in the team and play every game. So it'd be interesting to see how that pans out. But hugely exciting. It'd be interesting to see if young players are coming through. Obviously, they've had one or two. But whether or not they've got more young players coming through, as well as doing all these signings. But yeah, exciting time for them. It'd be interesting to see what happens at Northamptonshire. I get the vibe Freddie Heldright might be on his way out, which is a shame, because I thought he was a good player. They briefly signed this, is it Aryavan Varma, who's an interesting one. I think he's captain of Eton College. He's already played for Dubai Capitals. He's been at, is it Delhi Capitals? And now he's played for Northamptonshire. Can bat a bit, leg spinner. Curious journey. So it'd be interesting to see what the future holds for him. Obviously, we've seen players like Basra join and then get a longer contract. Rob Keogh, I think, might be out of contract. I'm not sure. I don't know whether Darren Lehman is convinced, so we'll see what happens there. From my personal performance, cricket draft perspective, I've plummeted to 86. Like, I think it's tight in the One Day Cup. I mean, I've fallen like a stone in the T20 Blast. In the One Day Cup, I seem like I can go anywhere from like 5th to 150th in a short space of time. So even though I've gone to 86, like, I'm not panicking. I do still have a googly that I probably need to use next week. Whether or not I've got 15 players, I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, I'm doing all right. Hopefully I can cling on. And then obviously looking ahead to get back to the county championship, where I'm 10th place with 3 weeks to go. So see how that pans out. So yeah, just a few thoughts on a few things. Get back in front of the camera, first time in a while. Hope you're enjoying the One Day Cup. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to share any thoughts in the comments section. How's that?